All right, Vassos, over to you.
Our next guest is a musician, composer, car designer, singer-songwriter, and his dad was a Beatle. He's now remixed and remasters the 50th anniversary edition of his father's iconic album, Living in the Material World, out next month. So, here comes the son. Let it be Dhani Harrison.
All right, Dhani.
Thank you.
This album, the one we're talking about right now, we're talking about loads in the next half an hour. Living in the Material World. So it's 4 years older than you are.
Yes.
Okay. So first memories of you hearing your dad's music.
Well, the record, if people, a bit of history on the record site, the record was made to kind of pick up the bill from Concert for Bangladesh,
Wow.
Which was obviously done as a charity record to help all the famine and refugees in Bangladesh during the big crisis there in the early 70s. And they did the New York show. They made the film, which is the famous sort of first philanthropic concert, essentially, and concert film, which we, again, will be working on right now.
Come on now.
Restoring footage.
Get on with it.
We've got Peter Jackson on that one.
Not him again.
No. I mean, with all the algorithm.
Yeah.
He can do. He's got all the technology. That man.
He invented
Genius.
it.
Yeah. So this record, obviously, they realized they needed to make more money because they were still trying to do the cause, help their cause. So obviously, led to the concept of living in the material world where you're trying to do something good, but you really need this money. So it's a very dualistic record in terms of, inward spiritually, outward materialistically, trying to get things sorted.
Because anything that is helpful has to be both. Unfortunately, it just has to be both.
That's where we are, of the world we live in.
It's the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
But nature tells us that it's so. It's the day and the night of life. It's the sun and the rain, isn't it?
So exactly, and so this record has always been the proceeds go to the Material World Charitable Foundation,
and still
to this day.
That's great, man.
And so I still, with my mother and my family, we run the Material World Charitable Foundation. So this record was the first record that he did at Friar Park.
Wow.
So All Things Must Pass. They were building the studio there. And so every record since then, and the records that I was talking about, my record and the other record, the Tuvan record, they were all done there. So it's a big family. So when I talk about it, it doesn't seem too different because they were all made in the same place with the same equipment.
Track 2, Sue Me, Sue You Blues. it's so sort of melancholy. It's wonderfully and lightly witty, isn't it?
I believe Ray Cooper plays the judge in the video.
Ray Cooper. For people who don't know who Ray Cooper is, please tell everybody about Ray Cooper.
Ray Cooper's one of the most incredible people I've ever met. An uncle, and
what is it about Ray?
He's just the most incredible musician, percussionist, and he worked with my father with Terry Gilliam doing handmade films.
I know.
So he has a cameo in pretty much every Gilliam film. I think he might have even been the henchman that kills Baron Munchausen from the balcony, and the hands that roll up the map in Time Bandits.
Yeah.
Also the man that swats the fly in Brazil, who creates the entire problem for the whole film. So yeah, Ray Cooper plays the judge in the video for Sue Me, Sue You Blues.
Ray Cooper he's an amazing artist, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's an amazing
artist.
Human being, and life flows through him. But he's like a lightning fork, but from roots up, as opposed to sky down.
I believe the fans will probably get mad with me. It's either Ray Cooper or Jim Keltner. I think it's one of the two legends.
Yeah.
I think Ray's in there at some point in the video, and Jim's in there too. So the fans will probably be calling in saying, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about."
Yeah, well, don't worry about it. Look, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
Well, that's
I'm going to go with that.
Either way, it's worth talking about Ray Cooper on the radio. Shout out to Ray.
100%. And Ray Cooper, Elton John, he's a percussionist, for heaven's sake, but he's a percussionist that has stolen the show unwittingly. He's never meant to steal the show from anyone, but anybody he's on stage with, including the greats, he just steals the show, doesn't he?
I mean,
you can't take your eyes off him.
24 Nights, Eric Clapton, all of that stuff.
Elton John, all that going on. It's great, man. So you just alluded to Friar Park there, and now Mark Wogan's been on, who you know very well.
Mark. So one of the
Mark has been on,
locals.
and I said, I said, well, Mark's clearly been around to Friar Park. And he says, Danny, beautiful man, fully paid member of the Any Relation gang, which he gets a lot.
Yeah.
Mark Wogan,
Yeah.
any Relation. Not cracked the invite yet, despite being neighbours. So clearly
We've been trying to, we keep meeting up at a friend's house in the middle.
He wants to meet up at your house.
Yeah, well, we will do this.
Yes,
we will do
okay,
this.
just so you know. And I will be driving. I'll
Shout
drive
out
him
to
there.
Mark out there.
I can wait and return.
Yeah.
You don't have to invite me in.
You're all welcome. Come on over. You live within,
I know.
several minutes of me
I know,
anyway.
I
So.
know I'm shameless.
Yeah.
Is it true about the stones on the water?
The water's
The walking on the water.
well, they built the lakes there very. It's an interesting place because they built the lakes on a terrace. So when you walk across the stepping stones, it looks like you're up to your waist.
Right.
So if you look down at the lakes and if you look at people walking across, they all look like they're
And this is all done on purpose.
wading. Yeah, Victorian jokes, really.
What was Friar Park before your family?
It was
bought
it was the summer house of a man called Sir Frank Crisp, who sort of renovated it. The mystery of who actually built the first bit of the house is still kind of a mystery, but Sir Frank Crisp built the follies and the gardens, and he was an incredible Victorian.
So he stuck the word friar in there to give it some sort of...
It was.
That's a bit cloak and dagger, though, because it was
think
never for monks.
He was making fun of organized religion, I think.
Right.
And so he was kind of like very, very funny, dry sense of humor. There are sort of Victorian dad jokes carved into the walls.
No way!
Yeah, there's a sculpture of a friar holding a frying pan with a hole in, and it just says "Two Holy Friars." It's really that bad. Like,
and that's very musician humor.
You guys totally musician humor, dad, Victorian dad jokes. And if you go 100 years into the future from that moment, it's actually. It's made it funnier.
It's really
funny now.
It's really funny, and what a wonderful place for your mum and dad to inherit in a way. I know they bought it, but in a way it was perfect for them. It was meant to be. Almost.
Well, my maximum respect to my mother, because she, since my father's been gone 23 years this year, she has just taken the gardens to another whole level.
Really?
So yeah, when you come around, you'll see it. It's and it's still the home of a lot of, we still run the studios there.
Yeah.
There's tons of musicians in and out. We make
I drive past it all the time because I go to Goring. There's this amazing cafe at Goring, the Village Cafe, which we go. It's 45 minutes, but it's worth the journey. Let me tell you.
Another one on the
corner. It's amazing, isn't
corner,
it?
Yeah.
So we go past your place all the time, and so the vibe is there. It's cool there.
We're still making music.
How did they? Because Right Move wasn't a thing then. How did they come across it? How did they know? Was it on the market?
They were about to bulldoze it.
No way.
Yeah, it was about a week away from being bulldozed, and I heard a story that some old boy local in Henley thought it was an atrocious act that they were about to commit and just bulldoze this one of the most incredible buildings in England. And then he sued the developer. And the developer, they put an injunction on him, stopped him for a week.
Wow.
And they had the wrecking ball outside.
No way.
And in that 1 week, my dad came along because some lady called him and said, "We've got an absolute monstrosity for you, sir."
Perfect for you.
And the roof was leaking, and the lakes were sold as landfill. The whole place was decimated. And then so my parents spent the rest of my dad's life, and ever since then, my mother in charge. And it's looking good, It's one of the great gardens of England.
I love it. Right, music-wise, so you were quite late to the debut album party from an age point of view. What
From
age?
a solo album perspective.
Solo album.
Yeah, I did lots of bands. I've been in lots of bands, but I kind of waited to do a solo album. I never thought I'd do a Dhani Harrison record,
right?
And I did that.
Is that a confidence thing or a
no?
collective
I think it's
thing,
just more. I enjoyed being low key and being able to get the art to be seen for what it is before the name comes in.
Right.
Before the comparisons come in,
which is very difficult.
Yeah,
isn't it for you?
Comparison, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a number 2. I was in a band with Ben Harper called Fistful of Mercy, Joseph Arthur and Ben.
Yeah.
And we toured with those bands. And then eventually I think I did a record in about 2018.
Right, and so you have a second album.
So I was 40 when I did my first solo record.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Which I think is a really good age to do your first solo record.
Yeah, and 40. I remember when John turned 40 and I was at school, and obviously he died when he was 40 as well. But I remember thinking, oh, the Beatles are so old now. And now I'd kill for 40. You would literally kill for 40. By the way,
I'd kill for 40.
I'm loving 58. It only gets better.
You look great. I'm 46.
46, yeah, of course you're 46. No, I feel great. Honestly, I feel special.
I saw you doing jumping jacks in the room barefoot before
anyway,
I came in.
Yeah,
I was about to say, respect. You've still got the same amount of energy.
I think I've got more.
Yeah.
I think I've got more. Well, I'll tell you what, it's better energy.
Yeah.
Than it was. Not
more
all the way.
More focused energy.
Yeah, more focused. But the less need to, I talked about this yesterday because it's Sober October. A lot of people going Sober October, and there's people saying, I don't drink much, but I've cut back on the booze and I feel super focused. And I said because I don't drink at all anymore. And when you don't drink at all anymore, you don't need to feel super focused because you don't ever need to be super focused because you're always present. And if you're always present, you're sort of always focused anyway.
Presence is the key, isn't it?
It's the key,
right?
innit?
Presence to everything.
100%. Right. So you're going on tour with some second album material.
So I did a first record in 2018 called In Parallel, and I did a second record last year called Inner Standing.
After the event.
So the before times and the after times.
This is COVID we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one came out before and one came out after, and obviously touring and everything changed. And
did the bit in the middle affect the sound of the second one?
Definitely. A lot. It made it a lot deeper and a lot angrier, I think. And
Really?
and we just finished a concert movie, and that's just come out on Amazon Prime, and it's out through our YouTube channel called Inner Soundstage. Yeah. And so that's the whole album from start to finish. Shot very well by our wonderful director, Joel Kazuo Konischild, who just won an Emmy for the behind the scenes of Shogun, the wonderful show. If you haven't seen that, it's a pretty amazing show.
Heard a lot about it.
Samurai show. It's right down my street. And so, we're going on tour. We're going we're just a couple shows here, tactical shows, London, Paris, Berlin. Yeah. The concert show came out. Yeah.
But listen, here's the thing. I know you played a few festivals. We have this festival. Your mum's been to my festival, and it's 100% charity.
Yes,
and it's at your mum's friend's Claire Schecter's farm.
Yes,
Come and play.
Okay.
Come and play.
Will.
You don't have to. I mean,
I would love that.
It's an open invite.
I would love that. Place is incredible anyway.
I would love you to come and play.
Well, let's do that.
And it's all where the money goes and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Good vibes, man.
I'm in. Oh, and I have to plug my show as well. If we're playing...
I've done it. Loads.
Oh, yeah. Playing 21st.
Go on, off you go.
21st at Hackney Earth.
Yeah. DhaniHarrison.com. Let me get this up. DhaniHarrison.com/tour. Also, Berlin, if you fancy a bit of Berlin, people.
Yeah, and Paris.
Gay Paris, even gayer.
Paris on the 15th, Berlin on the 13th.
And London, 24th of October.
21st.
Oh, sorry, 21st. On the 24th of the year.
Oh, yes, this 2024.
Yeah, sorry, it's my fault. Did we meet was it the Rolling Stones at Brixton Academy or was it Madonna at Brixton Academy?
I was Rolling Stones when, this is a long time ago, I feel like Reef were opening up.
That was it. That was why I was there.
Yeah, Reef were opening up, and those guys were great. I love those guys.
Yeah.
And I ended up sitting backstage and missing Reef because my dad was chatting to Keith Richards.
Which is fair enough.
And I still have this discussion with Keith's son Marlon, who's my dear friend.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marlon if he's listening out there. He was like, you were just there to watch Reef and you got roped into sitting around with the Stones. I was probably,
Do you know Reef play every Car Fest?
Oh, love it.
They do.
Love it.
We just book them every time because
they're
great
good guys.
They're great and they're still at it and they're still rocking away and I love it. George Harrison, Give Me Love Now, Give Me Peace on Earth from Danny's remastering of for the 50th anniversary of Living in the Material World. It's out now. All proceeds to
Material World Charitable
Foundation.
Foundation.
There you go.